Do you think our issue is?
Who's our?
I think they mean community. It just I'll just type it as they wrote it. Do you think our issue is that we're not as much in the church as we used to be?
No, that ain't it.
No,
the issue is the church leadership declined. That's the issue.
Okay.
You look at all these powerful preachers we got with mansions and Bentleys and private planes, but they could have also taken that same money, made sure they whole flock, all the kids in they flock graduated from college and put them kids through 4-year university. They could have invested that money into creating more resources for their communities to enable they flock to do better. But instead, they chose to enrich themselves. And let's be real, that is the example they set for they flock. And then you wonder why we looking the way we look. You know, you over here talking about you the preacher, you over here sitting on however much bread, and you talking about, hey, so that last $1,000 in your account right now, and God gonna give you a blessing. Right. I can feel it. Right. You know, it's like, come on, man.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Has a church ever closed?
I've seen one close.
You seen a church close before?
Yeah, but open up again.
It's a big one.
Yep.
Yeah, see. Churches don't close. They big business. And I'm not knocking the Bible or the religion.
I don't think any of us are knocking, but do you think church interferes with religion?
Yes.
Huh?
Do you think church interferes with religion?
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Elaborate on that.
Not really.
Todd does.
Nah, because I mean, like some people praise in their own way, and sometimes going to the temple and actually being physically present in the house of God can also give you some type of
the right church.
Not even the right church, because you can go to church and get there for your
so
own
the fellowship
and for your own type of needs that you want.
Yeah, but
you gotta learn that.
But if you in the church,
go ahead, Todd.
When the pastor fucking the deacon's wife,
or the deacon,
the first lady got the Louis bag, and she on Instagram and all that type of shit.
Praise him.
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, but that still doesn't change the word of the Bible. That still doesn't change the word of religion. They gotta own up to that, however they want to. And I get that. And how you go about church, like I said, is solely up to you. Is
church a place?
Church is a place of just being present.
We have a church right now.
Is church a place?
This is church right now. We talking about
that's why I'm trying to get to when I say is church interfering with religion. When I say the organization of religion as opposed to the spiritual relationship between the people and God, is church sometimes coming
in between?
In the institution of churches, like we talk about, is that coming in between the people and the spirit sometimes?
Yeah.
People think that, like, they look at somebody that hasn't gone to church for a while and they're a heathen, but you go in there and look at them heathen and ways of the people that's in the church. And not to take it on a somber note, but in some rare occasions, you talk about like all of these things, and I'm talking about specific religions, but abuse in the church and how they'll just move a priest to another church and getting in the way of the belief of you and God. There's a lot of things there, and again, taking yourself out of it and looking at it what it is for what it truly is, and not make fun of people that just show up on Easter.
I think when you're deeply invested into an actual church, and you do see the back end of stuff like that, as far as like priests messing with little boys and stuff like that, I think that can definitely tarnish you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you just go hear the word and bounce, that'll save you a lot of the heartache. Don't stay and get the dinners after church.
Let's see what you talking about.
Don't put men ahead of God. Is what you're saying. You're saying don't put the men in this place ahead of God. This is just your vessel to kind of fellowship with God.
What about the people that's coming to God for the first time, looking for it?
Right.
That don't know.
That has nothing to do with the people in the church, though. That doesn't. It has to do with what he's preaching, what word he's giving, but not the individual that's on the pulpit. You get what I'm saying?
I don't.
You will hope that person is as genuine as the word that they speak, but sometimes people can be so crooked, but speak some words directly to your heart, that'd be enough. You know what I mean? Right. So that person it didn't even mean nothing. It's just like hip hop. Somebody can deliver a track to you that hit your heart to make you straighten up, but that person got so many demons that they fight. You ain't judging the person that got
like
the
DMX.
Demons. Like DMX. DMX fought demons all the time, but he said stuff that hit home that changed a lot of people's lives too. You know what I mean? So you don't go into church you can't judge nobody in the church.
But you
That's the
can't look
whole
at that
point.
man as God. He's
You
just a
can't. He's not
person,
your
or that
God.
person.
He's just a person.
Go
that's
ahead.
just
I want to hear
delivered.
what
But if
you.
you don't know God and you coming to God, He's representing God. How do you not?
You have to make the distinction of he's a representative. You have to make that distinction
But
that
if you
he's
don't-
the vessel.
But you a baby in this. How do you make that distinction?
Right. I
That's
get
a
what you're
good
saying.
point. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
no,
point.
I totally agree, but
That's a good point.
Yeah.
that's what I mean by just separation. You take what you need from it. Don't engulf yourself into it. You know
But
what
that's
I mean?
a mature perspective. Like
I hear what he's saying. I hear what he's
during,
saying.
Like during the pandemic, like right before the pandemic, I started going back to church for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And once the pandemic hit and they started talking about the Rona, I stopped watching church because I was like, I don't want to go to church
On politics.
I don't want to talk about the Rona because everything else is talking about the Rona.
Mm-hmm.
There's
You
nothing
come
in the
here,
Bible
but-
talking about the Rona. So let me just back up for a little bit and let's get past this for me to reintroduce myself into it. It doesn't change my love and faith of it. It's just kind of like you gotta learn when to separate and when to actually extract what you need and then move on.
You go to Bible study?
I don't know.
I was just curious. I was just curious on like how do you, like I was saying, your perspective is a very mature perspective. So it's like, how do you go about your relationship? Because that's really what you're talking about. You're
Yeah.
talking about people having an individual relationship with God.
Of course.
And he's talking about people who don't really know how to have that relationship.
They're not,
and they're
mature.
coming to
I got
church
you.
to try to figure it out. But at the same time, while they trying to figure it out, everybody they looking at is giving them the wrong version
I mean,
of what it should look like. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not the most holy individual that I've never read the Bible front to back. I will tell you that.
Right,
But when you go there, you will definitely hear motivational speaking throughout the whole course of the service. That's the thing. And it makes it related to the Bible. So I've learned to take those things that do hit home more than me trying to fully invest my whole life into it. Because once you fully invest your whole life into it, church is a 24-hour thing. You know what I mean?
And
you
if
take
one of
no
them
breaks.
fall, you take it as God is falling.
Right.
So if the person that's representing God, and if you don't separate it, and that person, you find out that they're embezzled, or you look at an Eddie Long, or you look at something like that, and that happened, will affect how you look at God, and it's not
Right.
God, it's that person.
I
What
feel
you gonna
y'all on
say,
that.
Fernando? You want to say something?
So, I mean, like full disclosure, like I like to consider myself Catholic. Like, very like when you said like when Vance said, "Oh, church and religion is once you accept God and like that truth aspect, it's a 24-hour thing." Like I feel that it's a 24-hour thing. However, I think the problem that people have when they're coming into religion, the most hardest thing that happens for them to get over that distinction of the physical and the metaphysical. So you have that. So people when they think of a blessing or when they're coming to church, they think of like a physical thing. They think of like, oh, I'm getting this money, I'm getting this car, I'm getting this thing. When really is the metaphysical is that piece of understanding, like maybe not today, but tomorrow. Maybe I'm not getting the full thing that I want, but I'm getting an opportunity that I didn't see was there before. Or maybe it's even going back to the original topic of the question was the community. Like, hey, you know what? I'm really struggling being on my own. I don't have a family, but guess what? I have found a community that really accepts and loves me. So I think a lot of people, they have that issue where like when they first start coming to religion, not so much as a church, but they are looking for that physical affirmation when they should be looking for that metaphysical. And once they get that metaphysical, then I just see everything like lights up and like things start coming to them. Like they find that inner peace.
That's a great perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Todd wants to.
I want to win. No, I don't want to do nothing.
No. You nothing you wanted to say.
Todd wants to
No.
repent.
No, I was just asking the question from. I know that, man is always going to fall short. I know that we're here to be Christ-like. That's my belief.
Right.
No one's going to be Christ. I know this because I got mature.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm saying from a baby perspective. That's it.
Okay, in a baby to maybe
To-
an organized religion.
Correct.
And that's a hard walk. It's a hard walk. It's kind of what we were talking about, taking yourself out of your relationship with a parent.
Mm-hmm.
knowing that's a human being on the pulpit. God is of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and having to know a messenger versus the message.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the messenger fell, the message is still golden and valid. That's dope.
I'm gonna say something real crazy.
What?
Just one time, and I'm just dead serious. Just watch a Joel Osteen when he on TV. Just watch like 10 minutes. He says nothing but motivational stuff for like 10, 15 minutes, and then he'll sprinkle the Bible in there real quick, just thinking about religion.
Sprinkling.
And then he come right back around to the motivational speaking.
Gotcha.
Jesus.
And a lot of that stuff, that's all they doing is just, it's pure motivational speaking. They just capitalize.
Bunch of Gary V's.
Tony Robbins
Tony
with a
Robbins.
sprinkle.
Well,
Shout out,
look,
it's basically Tony Robbins with
a
religion.
theology
Yeah,
agree.
with the Bible wrapped around it. So
Look what he did
it-
during
it
the
is what
hurricane
it
in
is.
Texas.
It's good for your brain.
Locked
though.
everybody
Yes.
out. He said, "Y'all ain't messing up."
He said,
my
"Y'all
new
ain't sleeping in
carpets."
here," and they just found the
Lord
money
just
that they
blessed us
claimed.
with these carpets.
And they just
You
found
wouldn't wanna
money
mess
that
up
he
that
claimed that
blessing,
was
would you?
missing in the
You don't want to
walls.
mess up God's cloth.
Right.
Did you hear about that?
I did not.
What happened?
So he had claimed some money was missing. Joel Osteen, like 10 years ago. And a maintenance man that came to fix the bathroom at his mega church found like 600 something in the walls.
In the
mercy.
walls?
And I don't know if it was insured money or whatever, but he
Mhm.
claimed this money was missing. And
Damn.
the maintenance worker person found the money in the wall.
That's crazy.